Hey, good afternoon, or pre-evening, as Sheldon from The Big Bang Theory would call it. Joe back here. I'm in my shop now. I put some white paper down, hopefully to make the camera focus a little bit better, because I think when it sees that grid of that cutting mat, it really wackadoodles it. Yeah, it's been a pretty good day. I've kind of half napped, half watched TV most of the afternoon after we got back from lunch. And I should have been doing more in here, but I didn't. Or I should have been out in the yard doing some work. It's like 51, 50 some degrees out there. Kind of breezy, but it's not terribly cold. But we've had nothing but rain. And my yard is kind of a swamp in the back. It's receded now. I mean, it looks like the puddles are gone, but it's probably mushy as hell to walk on. Now, just last week, and even earlier this week, it was still kind of a winter brown in some areas, and just some areas are green. Well, with all this rain we've had, it's pretty much all green now. And I got trees and shrubs budding, and all that good stuff. And I just looked at the lawn just before I came in here, and there's some high patches of grass already. What was like this is now like that. It's like, holy crap. And so I think tomorrow what I'm going to do is get out there and at least on the front yard, make the yearly walk and pick up all the limbs and branches. Some of them are quite huge, and drag them to the backyard and maybe cut the front and cut my side yard by the driveway between the neighbor's house and mine. Because I noticed this morning when pulling out that it's getting high in some areas. My yard is like, high, 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 low, high, low, high, 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 really thick, high. It's all patchy. And there's some areas I won't even be able to tell I touched. And then other areas the mower's going to bog down. So I think this is the week, depending on weather, that I got to get on. And tomorrow afternoon and evening, there's a chance of more storms. I'm like, oh, really? But I digress on the yard work for now. I'll have to get to that and bring a saw home and cut up branches. But this is a slight update on the Mustang group build I'm in. That's due on Wednesday. I got the engine painted the green that Zaxpeed painted their engine. And monogram didn't go too wild on this thing. I mean, I looked at pictures of the real thing, and there's all kinds of pumps and modules and all kinds of hullabaloo on this engine. They just molded this big, I painted it like a metallic gray thing, but this is actually separate little modules and stuff and brackets and everything. I suppose some are oil pumps, and something has to be an alternator on this, and some kind of turbo pump and maybe a fuel pump. I have no idea what they are. However, excuse me, I'm looking at the instructions, and I started assembling this. I painted the turbo pipes a metallic gold, and then I hit them with some panel liner, and I'll probably streak them with some other color just to have them kind of look like that heat damaged turbo pipes. And but they tell you to assemble this to this, and then plant this down on the base after you put this on. Let me get this off camera so I can see what I'm doing. The belts. Well, yeah, I put the belts on. Okay, there they are. They can only go one way. And what's really weird is that pulley there. I don't know how well it's going to show. Yeah, see, it's not going to want to focus that good. It's connected to nothing. This one there would probably look like it's going to the flange on the oil pan. Hold on, let me get it back in place again. There we go. So, yeah, see, there's a little protrusion there. That pulley's kind of hooked to, but what it's running, unless that's just a tensioner, I don't know. But here's where it gets weird. It's on this side of the engine. It's got two pegs, like it goes into something. And a peg there and a peg there. And there's these humps in the bracket. And I'm thinking, okay, well, maybe they have you wedging it in there after the fact. You know, there's supposed to be some kind of pumps or something, whatever they are, an alternator, a pressure pump, or whatever. Excuse my nails there. And no, there's nothing. I'm like, really? Monogram left something to be desired on the engine. Now, once it's down in that bay and all the turbo pipes are on it, you probably won't see it. But I may go through my spare parts, and even if it's a generic looking alternator type thing or oil pump or anything, you know, just something to bridge that gap and paint it up, just so when you look down in there, it's there. You know, I'm just really surprised by that. Of course, it gets a valve cover that goes over the top of it. And these pulleys on the top get painted the same green. So, and that's pretty much it. Now I got to do all the other turbo pipes. But, yeah, I'm just really surprised by that. There's a few corners I see that were cut on these Mustang kits that they could have done better. Like the interior, a lot of stuff's molded in, which makes it really hard to paint separately. I wish they would have, you know, kept everything separate. It has no ducting for the brake pulling and all that. But I also noticed these are in the kit. And out of the 5 or so pictures of the car built, 4 of them have these things installed, which are made by BBS. These are BBS wheels. These are BBS covers. They're basically hubcaps, and they were made out of whatever composite materials they were made out of. You can see the BBS logo there, if it's going to focus. There it is, BBS. And these were called turbo fans. And they were often painted. And these raised ribs were painted sometimes a separate color. I've seen them in Gulf colors, like the blue wheel with the orange spokes. And these were bolted to these super deep dish wheels. And these provided a fan effect to suck heat off the brakes. And I guess also, by what I've heard, in some theories, for aerodynamics, because these wheels were so deep. At least all these Mustangs, I think they were, the front tires themselves were like 20 or 22 inches, and the rears were 24 or more. Ridiculously wide tires, which means these wheels have to be fairly deep. So I guess that kept some of the air flowing over it and gave it a, you know, an extra 1/8 of a horsepower, you know, and the, you know, 1/1000th of a second ET time around the lap. You know, anything to, you know, preserve the brakes and, you know, pick up a little bit of horsepower. But, so, yeah, and I've seen pictures of the real car, and sometimes they were just the open wheels with the gold BBS spokes, and other times they had these in there. So I don't know if it was a thing they did for track or track conditions, temperature, wind, weather, you know, whatever made them use them. If there was something that came along later in the seasons and they started using them. But, yeah, because they made them flat too. They sold them to, like, for stock street cars and stuff. You know, they were flat here. They basically look like hubcaps. And they were supposed to, you know, help preserve brakes and all that stuff. So I'm fighting myself whether I paint them black and use them, or whether I go with the gold spokes. And I mean, I really like the traditional wheel, but in all the pictures, like I said, out of the 5 pictures, 4 of them have these on them. And so I don't know. And then I've been fighting with myself. Maybe put a set in the rear wheels and not in the front, or use them on the front, not the rears, or one side of the car, not the other. Who knows? I wish there were more pictures of it, but there aren't. But yeah, that's my notification things of the monogram kits. They're not bad, but, you know, this engine could have been a little bit better. You know, but I mean, once all that is turbo pipes, the rest of them are on this side. And like the front radiator intercooler, it's blank on the one side. It's got the, you know, the fins and on one side, the other side's just hollow. But I guess once you have the body over top of it, it kind of covers it. But, you know, I could see where they cut some corners to make these. Still like to see them reissued. So, but that's it for that. Excuse me, get a drink there. And stopped at my local hobby shop today. Still, he does not have the 60 Ford pickup. I'm like, God, when's he going to have that? Not that I'm going to build it right away with 100 other projects on the table. But I picked up a sheet of Gopher decals. Gopher Racing decals. So yeah, made in the USA. Gopher. So when you use the name several times, Gopher, maybe I'll get a sponsorship. Maybe they'll endorse Joe's Rush Shop. Gopher decals. You'll use your names. Gopher. I like them. Okay. Not to say they're perfect, though. I've had some issues with them. Like all decals, they seem to have a shelf life. But yeah, I got these. These had some little more modern stuff. You got your snap-on and what else did I want it for? Where are they? How come I can't? Oh, the Summits. And there's a few others. But yeah, I picked up these. Then I picked up this. And the reason I picked up that was because this is what I used on this engine. And I also used it, I don't remember where I used it, but somehow I managed to kill a whole can of it. Now, I know I didn't use a whole can on one engine. So I had to use it on something, and I don't remember for the life of me what I used it on. I don't remember doing a whole car, or did I? Oh, yes, I did. I did that funny car. That's right. I did the monogram, the Duster. So what was left went on the engine, but it wasn't enough to do the valve cover, which is painted that, and it's like black, like a lot of black wash or black paint with that. But either way, it's black and this green. I did have this. Okay, now even though the number is different, X15 versus TS22, they're both called light green. See, light green. And I went to use this with the brush over the valve cover because I didn't have any more of this left. It's quite a few shades off. I mean, it's way brighter. Way brighter. It's like night and day brighter. So, I picked up another can of this. So I could paint that valve cover with this and it'll match. And while I was there, I picked up this. Now, granted, it's a curbside. Granted, it's pretty much the same price as the rest of them. It was a little less. But I didn't have it. Yeah, it's a curbside. And yes, it's not even the kind of curbside like they do with some of their kits. The Craftsman ones with the, well, that's a Craftsman Plus, but I believe the hood's molded shut on this one. Not that it couldn't be cut open. And it's got these really, crappy smaller tires. But let's take a look at it. I figure it might be a good quickie build, a good slump buster build type of thing. Funny thing is they consider these, come down a little bit, excuse me, back in the day, compact cars. And whereas this is almost like a mid-sized car today. It's funny what they consider, but it's a cool little car. I mean, I think I might build it up real quick. Get this excess plastic. But yeah, there's your interior. It's molded all in one piece. The seats and stuff. Dash is separate, but that's steering wheel and shifter. But I thought it might be a nice little mild street machine type car. Like a day 2 type of thing. It's almost a snap kit, honestly, because just test fitting that interior in there. You have to actually press it in. Get in there. Come on. Probably won't be able to get back out. But anyhow, that's the gist. You know, they've got the one-piece chassis. You know, nothing fancy. But, you know, they might put some Kragers or something on it and give it the right stance and make a nice hot rod out of it. You know. It does have some decals. Let's take a look at those. Come down a little bit. And, there we go. Let's kill the light. Daytona International Speedway. 108, 354 miles per hour. I don't know what that... 100,000 miles. Optional durability car. So what they do, drive this thing 100,000 miles and keep it at a steady 108? How the hell would they do that? How long would that take? I'll have to look that up. But anyhow, yeah, there's that, and there's these, just some basic decals. There's the cat, and gauge panel and radio, and some emblems, some license plates. Caliente. I think that means hot. I think. So anyhow, yeah, it comes with those. I mean, there's not a lot of more. You know, you got your clear one-piece window, your taillight lenses, and just some axles, some basic instructions, which, honest to God, if you need instructions for this kit, you know, I hear a lot of guys, I never use instructions. I'll be the first to admit, I do use instructions on kits that are a little more complicated. And kits that have upper and lower control arms and all kinds of stuff like that. And here's our chrome. I mean, if a kit has a lot of detail and it's important what order things go in and stuff like that, yes, I use instructions, but I also kind of use simple logic. These kits here are pretty much... Oh, I never noticed this. This has a... Let's see if it'll focus here. It has a little dog. Usually they have like the stuffed animals. This looks like an actual, supposed to be a little, like a separate little dog. A little pooch. That's kind of cool. But, yeah, so who knows. In between some of these other projects I got to get finished, I might just scuff and prime it and give it some color and just have some fun with it. But yeah, that's about it. Just wanted to show off that. And yeah, I saw these wheel covers. I'm like, because I think even in the kit they have a question mark. They're optional. But there was no explanation. I wish sometimes there was explanations of what things are and why they are and what they're called. But I guess they were introduced in 1982 or something. So that would have been about the time this car started running. I think it was 81, 82, 83 these ran. And then they went to that that different body style, that GTP or GTO body style that was longer and a little more rounded. They kind of lost the Fox body, squared off corners and stuff. So yeah, these probably came along partway through the season. Maybe that's why some pictures have them and some don't. Or like I said, it could be track conditions, the type of track, the weather, as to whether or not they used them. But, yep, okay, well, I'm going to go clean up this mess and get some stuff done on the Mustang. So hopefully I could make a video on Wednesday for this thing and have it done. I did some detailing on the interior last night. I'm going to do some more now and try to get it together. And I can't do much painting outside right now. I'm either going to have to go down the basement or out to the garage because the wind is either going to take the paint and blow it all over me, or it's going to blow it away from the parts, or it's going to blow too much paint on the parts. It's going to turbocharge the paint. It's still breezy out there. I'm surprised I don't have more branches down yet. And I'm waiting for the big hollowed out, soggy, wet tree between the houses to collapse and make a mess and hit the house or something like that. I'm hoping that doesn't happen, but it is windy and everything's soggy. So, okay, well, hey, thanks for liking. Thanks for liking. Thanks for watching. And hey, if you do like it, let me know. Subscribe, share, comment, all that good stuff. And from me, hold on, and the Mitzoid, Mitzi. Well, hello. Say hello to everybody. Say hi. You saying hi? Okay. Say goodbye. All right. Well, thanks for watching and talk to you later. Bye-bye.